Howdy peeps, hope you're doing well. So it's been a little while since I've done a video. As always, no preparation with this, just reeling it off like I normally do. I've been giving things a lot of thought recently. Like, well, the whole relationship thing, I suppose. And I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about in this video. Which I'll talk about now actually, I'll get that over and done with. I've had a couple of news stories doing the rounds at the moment, and I'm trying to figure out which angle I'm supposed to be looking at it from. You see, at some point last week, we're now like the first week into June pretty much, the first weekend in June. But there was an attack, there was a bit of a domestic going on, and the way it was all printed out, and my argument is always, I don't think we're getting the full story, and I genuinely don't think we are, or that we do as often as what we should. So, the news article read that there was this guy who decided he was going to have this little knife-wielding moment with these two female housemates that he lived with. I think he was in like 35 or something, and the other two housemates were in their 50s. And a passerby intervened and hit the guy with a wheelie bin. So I suppose we're going to be looking at a ban on wheelie bins now, going on how this country seems to operate from past experience. But yeah, kind of is what it is. But you see, what really got me is that you never hear about what led these people up to doing what they did. Now, in some instances you could argue, well, there might be a bit of a psychological issue going on, might need medication or something like that. You could argue for that, but there was no mention of it. The other thing that there's no mention of is this ability that some women have of being able to press a guy's buttons all at once, all at the same time. Previously I've spoken about this in earlier videos as like a form of gaslighting. So they're constantly, I mean, it could be anything. It could be just the constant nagging and bickering and bitching, which is what a lot of women do. And so when they push a guy to that extent, now of course the best course of action to take is just to walk away, forget about it. Sometimes you can't do that though, can you? You know, sometimes you've got nowhere else to go. Where's that guy going to go? He's living in the house with these two women. You know, and again, I'm just going on the assumption that these two women, I mean, maybe they were plotting, or maybe that is just their nature. Who knows? I'm just guessing here. I don't know anything about that. There was nothing revealed. But the angle I didn't know how to look at is, well, are they telling us that white European males are problematic? Is that what they're saying? Or is it, oh look, another white male? Only this time he's from Europe, therefore theoretically problematic. But I didn't quite know. It's sort of like, I get really irate with that, and you know, that includes a video that I covered a couple of months ago, I think it was, with the murder of Sarah Everard, in whereas a police officer took her life. Now, admittedly, I didn't go into looking into it. I didn't do my own little investigation. But what I can tell you is that the media haven't come forward with anything as to what would get a guy to do something like that. You see, I don't, like I said, unless they've got something wrong with them, I can't see guys just waking up and thinking, who are we going to go and do in today? I mean, I certainly don't wake up with that sort of a mindset. And there's a ton of other people that I see walking up and down the street and going about their business. They're not waking up and thinking, who can we go and cause harm to? So, you know, it's one of them. But like I say, I did just feel, especially after I think it might have been March. I think it was March, when a lot of women, especially on social media, were going on about how men need to be educated and stuff like this in regards to relations with women. And I felt that was quite offensive, if I'm honest. And it's funny because, you know, like I said, I did call a few people out on it. Sort of like, hang on, you're saying all men. Well, by default, that includes me. And then, of course, they sort of backtrack a bit. Oh, well, no, I didn't wake up and think, oh, yeah, well, this guy. And it's like, no, you didn't, but you've just said all men. So that is a collective, and that is another sort of issue which, you know, a lot of us in the manosphere, we're perfectly well aware of. It's okay for women to say all men, this, that and the other. But when it's guys talking about women, we're not allowed to do that. We can't paint them all with that broad brush, because apparently that's wrong, right? And double standards, again, if they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any, just saying. But no, we have to say, oh yeah, there's this small percentage. There's a small percent, even women do it. So, oh yeah, oh that woman that you got with that like misbehaved and treated you bad and this, that and the other. Oh, she's just a small percentage, don't worry about it. But the truth is, there's so many guys talking about it now. You know, and have been since, 2015? Probably earlier. There's been a lot of people, a lot of guys telling their stories of the BS relationships and the breakups that they went through and everything else. But when it's that, it's a minority, isn't it? So, yeah, it's just a small percentage of women that just know it's a lot larger than what they really want to own up to. But they're not going to do it, right? A lot of these women, and accountability is just something that it's alien to them. You know, personal responsibility and all of that. It's just alien to them. They just don't know how to deal with it. They've never had to live with it in the past. So why can we expect them all of a sudden to start taking responsibility for their actions and realising that that small percentage of women that act out and get guys in trouble unnecessarily, be it through air quotes unwanted pregnancy or a false accusation or whatever, you know, that percentage really is a lot bigger than what they would want us to know. And again, the worst part in all of that is society lets them get away with it a lot of the time. Now, there are exceptions, obviously, but even then, there's, you know, in some cases, there's that whole thing of equality. It's not equality at all. That's just my argument point. Always has been, and until I see change, it always will be, because that's just, I say it how I see it. You know, it's not down to my own perception. It's down to the statistics, the facts, and the figures. And unfortunately, I do go looking at facts, statistics, and figures, and I'm offended by that as well. You know, the other sort of one that they really don't like being pointed out. There was another thing. There was like a theme park, I think, that got vandalised by the kids. That went in there and it all got caught on CCTV. So of course, what happened? Well, they were praising the mums. Wait for it. They were praising the mums that were then forcing their kids to go in and clean it all up and repair the damage that they've done. So what was the problem with all that, you might think? It's like, well, my point was, as it always will be, because, you know, I'm quite, I don't know if it's a traditional mindset or not. I think maybe it could be. But my first question is, well, they're saying how you know, responsible these mothers are, and it's like, okay, yeah, of course they're making their kids go up and clean up their mess that they made, their destructive behaviour and whatever. Again, kids are quite destructive anyway. But where were the dads at? You know, they're all like, oh yeah, they're such strong and empowered women sending their kids into such good parenting. It's like, no, good parenting would have been for them to have taught the value of respect for other people's property, teaching that to their kids in the first place. That would make them a good parent. But no, it's after the carnage. Then, you know, they're sending the kids in to clean up, and it's like all of a sudden they're all good parents. It's like, no. It's like, fucking hell. Is it that hard to grasp? I mean, people have often said to me, I'd make a good parent, I'd be a good dad. You know, if I was in that sort of situation. It's like, well, I don't know, I think I'd be... it doesn't bear thinking about. It scares me. Anyway, the other sort of topic, I'll make this probably a 20-minute video just to keep you guys going, because you might have had some sort of withdrawal symptoms since my last video or something. There's been relationships and sort of how things sort of pan out, or at least how they've panned out for me and how I see things, and I don't know if you guys will be able to relate or not. But the last sort of 5-6 years, I've had probably I'd say three short-term relationships. You know, nothing that ever amounted into anything, and I guess with kind of some regret. You know, one of them just wasn't totally honest with me about things. I'm talking like I think it was 2017, I think, when that one happened. And she just wasn't totally honest, and it's just sort of like, no, I can't live with someone that's prepared to lie to my face. You know, I can't. So, needless to say, I just had to finish that one. I just can't live with those terms and conditions of a relationship, because, you know, it's just not going to get any better, man. And yeah, and after that I started seeing someone else for a little while, and you know, it wasn't quite the same scenario. I think we just wanted different things, and I wasn't totally happy, so I had to let that one go as well. And it was still kind of upsetting, I suppose, because sorry, phone's going off. Nothing important, we're good. Should have turned it upside down. It's on silent. I'm halfway there. But yeah, then, you know, like I say, it's like, I don't think people are as honest as what, you know, because with their intentions of a relationship and that. And I think, you know what, even like when I've gotten involved with people before and I've sort of looked at the facts, you know, looked at reality and just been like, well, statistically this isn't going to work out, because, you know, this person, you know, for starters, some of them hadn't even finished getting divorced at the time. That's always a bad time for that anyway, man. It's like it brings extra hassle, whereas on one hand, you know, you want to do what's best for them, and you want to show them that you're there for them. At the same time, it's like there's an awful lot of emotion still going on there. That's why I always say, it's like, you know, don't get involved with someone that's separated and going through the divorce, you know, and just wait until they've dealt with it, you know, or not literally wait for them. Like, if that's your thing and you're going to seek a relationship with someone else, then, you know, go and seek it with someone else. Don't. If you don't find anything or nothing, you know, or you don't find what you're looking for, and then that person comes back and then they're free from the chains of the divorce or whatever, then maybe that would be a better option then. But, you know, because it's kind of sad, I suppose. You know, I sort of think back to some of the situations that I've been in with some of these exes, and it's like, you do the sort of good deeds and you're trying to show them that, you know, you actually mean well and that you are by their side and you have got their back. But they ain't got yours. You know, they're really not that interested. Or at least maybe on the surface they appear interested, but in the long run they're really not. Again, this is only something you're going to find out the hard way anyway, so, you know, why put yourself through that? Well, I did, and it was disappointing, to say the least. You know, when, I mean, you're sort of up against it, and again, when you sort of look at things, especially like relationships now, whereas, you know, with all due respect, a lot of these women, they've already got kids a lot of the time. You know, there's more single mums available on dating apps, and I don't know, I've had hot meals probably. And if you want to be third or fourth in the line, as it were, of things that come before you, I suppose that's alright, but it doesn't sit too well with me. So, and again, you can't, it is a difficult one. But what do you do? Anyway, so it got me to thinking about, like I say, like when I go through these relationships and how we interpret them and what we want out of them. Like I say, a lot of either women just blatantly lie about what they want, or they have an idea of what they want, and when they get it, they decide it's not what they want, which would probably be close to the truth in some cases. But that being said, I know enough women out there that, you know, they're in relationships, they've got their partner, be it a husband, fiance, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, and for the most part I'd say they're quite happy. So all I'd say is don't fuck it up. You know, if you've got something good and it's something that you actually appreciate, don't fuck it up. Because this is the sort of other sort of sad thing about a lot of these women that find themselves in these situations is, as we say, you want a good man now? Well, how many good men have you rejected, good men have you rejected in the past? You know, I'm not talking about nice guys. I mean, nice guys are just generally creepy, in my opinion, because their niceness is only superficial. You know, they're only being nice because they're after one thing. Other than that, they're not really. These, I would argue for that. You know, they tend to be somewhat controlling and psychologically manipulative, or sometimes even emotionally and physically in some cases. Doesn't mean women aren't or can't be, but you know that wouldn't be the definition of a nice woman, though, would it? That would be, for most of us, with whatever experience you've had, it would just be, well, that seems to be the standard MO for them, you know, modus operandi. That's just how they are, which doesn't fill me with confidence either. But c'est la vie. But yeah. So just a couple of things I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm going to try and get out into the sunshine hopefully tomorrow, and I'll do a walk and talk or something, so I haven't done one of them in a while. And I've got all new areas to explore in terms of places to go these days, but I'll do a catch up with that anyway. Right, so thoughts, comments and opinions, feel free to drop them down as always. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you've liked it, dislike if you didn't. If you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like about it, and I'll try and do a video specifically for that if it's something you would appreciate. Usually not, but whatever. Anyway, keep on enjoying the weekend, fellas. Until the next one, stay cool, stay free. Peace out.